The Paycheck Protection Program reopened last Monday, January 11th for some businesses and will be slowly expanded. The deadline to apply for all the new loans is March 31st.
11Alive News at noon starts now.
Better smile under that mask. You're on candid camera. One Metro Atlanta city deploying artificial intelligence technology to enforce COVID protocols. We'll break down how it works. COVID-19 top of the agenda on President Biden's first full day in office. His sweeping plan already announced today to slow the spread of the virus. Plus, what could be the next critical vote for Georgia's two newest senators? Our 11Alive political analyst with some context and perspective. But we begin at noon with that smart technology aimed at checking on whether you're wearing a mask or socially distanced from the person next to you. Mara Siriani with more on how Peachtree Corners is deploying artificial intelligence cameras to enforce COVID-19 protocols.
Peachtree Corners is deploying cameras that automatically detect when someone's not wearing a mask or when social distancing guidelines aren't being followed. City officials said the object detection technology from Coamo is installed into already existing cameras. The system does not use facial recognition or any personal identifiable information. City leaders say the cameras will provide high-quality, accurate public safety information and immediately alert city personnel when someone is not following appropriate COVID safety guidelines. Brandon Branham, assistant city manager, said, "Our highest priority and the aim of a smart city concept overall is the safety and security of our residents, and we firmly believe this technology will help us maintain important public safety protocols as we work to slow the spread of the virus." City leaders say Peachtree Corners is the first smart city in the nation to power this type of technology.
And a lot of controversy since the pandemic began over whether wearing a mask really does help stop the spread of COVID-19. A newly released study out of Boston Children's Hospital claims a 10% rise in mask wearing in a community more than triples the chance of slowing the virus. Researchers also found that mask wearing is not a replacement for social distancing. They say practicing both at high levels is your best chance of controlling the outbreak. Georgia is now the 6th highest state in the nation for new cases. That's according to the latest White House Coronavirus Task Force report. More than 5,700 new infections reported just yesterday. Georgia is also within the top 10 states for hospital admissions. We have more than 5,400 COVID patients in hospitals right now. And another 146 people died from the virus. That new number confirmed yesterday. The race to vaccinate is well underway, but Kroger is changing how it's setting up appointments after many people expressed concern over getting their second dose in time. Within the past week, more than 180 Kroger pharmacies in Georgia have administered nearly 10,000 doses of the vaccine, but they're still working out some kinks with the way appointments are scheduled. Kroger pharmacist Michelle Blaylock says a system should be in place soon to contact patients about when their second dose is due. Kroger is also enhancing its scheduling. Blaylock says by the middle of next month, patients should be able to confirm both appointments at the same time.
We will reach out to them when their second dose is due. Kroger is working to get a 1-800 number for patients maybe that don't have web access, so that is also in the works.
Even if all spots are full, Blaylock says they do get cancellations, so their best advice here, check their website several times a day. You never know. Nationwide, more than 16.5 million coronavirus vaccines have been administered in the U.S. so far. That's according to the CDC, and nearly 2.2 million people have received both of the required doses. Later on today, Governor Brian Kemp and the state's top doctor, Kathleen Toomey, will hold a briefing to discuss the latest in our state's COVID-19 vaccine rollout. Georgia is reporting more than 500,000 vaccines given so far, with another 500,000 still not administered. Today's update is happening at 4 p.m. at the state capitol. You can stream it on 11alive.com and on our 11Alive YouTube page. Chesley.
Thanks a lot, Sheba. We are looking at Rome drying out. I showed you this just this last half hour, and you can see where it was still wet. Even on our camera lens, we had a few raindrops, but now it's starting to dry out just a little bit, and the winds are starting to pick up a little bit as well. You see the flags are finally starting to move just a little bit, but still soggy on the ground. So if you're going out maybe to do your jog this afternoon, maybe walk the dog, know that the pavement will be wet. There it is. Better look at those widespread showers starting to fade eastward, getting out of the way. Isolated showers will be left over. We'll keep the clouds in place as well, and an isolated shower could pop up here or there as we head through the afternoon. certainly not out of the question. We'll be watching it, but you can see that is really the last of it for us as far as that steady light rain goes, and that will fade further down to the south. For now, more will come back overnight going into Friday morning. Temperatures are in the 40s, especially up here to the north, as you can see where that rain has been pushing through. 50s down here to the south. We'll get up to 55 degrees for an afternoon high temperature today.
It is President Biden's first full day in office, and it's all about the coronavirus pandemic. Today, he released details of his response plan, including providing more funding to local and state officials to speed up the vaccine rollout. Nadia Romero has more now from Washington, D.C.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
On President Joe Biden's first full day in office, the U.S. hits a major milestone, the one-year anniversary of the first confirmed COVID-19 diagnosis in the country. With the pandemic showing no signs of slowing, Biden is bracing for the road ahead.
We're entering what may be the toughest and deadliest period of the virus.
Biden is planning to sign 6 executive orders and a presidential policy directive today, all aimed at improving the national COVID response.
The issue that he wakes up every day focused on is getting the pandemic under control.
While Biden has the power to take some action alone, it'll be up to Congress to pass his legislative agenda.
Please raise your right hand.
With 3 new Democratic senators now sworn in, the balance of power in the Senate has shifted to Democratic control, which could help Biden pass ambitious legislation, including a $1.9 trillion COVID relief package.
Unemployment insurance, it has relief and assistance for the American people. It also has money to reopen schools.
And speed up cabinet confirmations.
The desire to get his cabinet in place and get his team confirmed is front and center for the president.
As the new administration hits the ground running to tackle crises on multiple fronts, the new president says he's optimistic in the face of monumental challenges.
There isn't anything we can't do if we do it together.
And several of President Biden's executive actions centered around helping Americans struggling financially because of this pandemic. And as he got to work last night, the White House press secretary confirmed the extension of the student loan suspension order that would have expired in 10 days.
The pandemic has also increased the hardship on millions of Americans who owe federal student loans. In response, the president asked the Department of Education to extend the pause on student loan payments and interest.
The suspension of federal student loan payments now extended through September 30th. This will impact roughly 85% of those loans. While borrowers won't have to make payments for another 8 months, they can continue to do so if they want and benefit from the 0% interest rate. Also taking on their first full day in office, Georgia's new U.S. senators. Today is the first full day. Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock becoming the state's first black senator. Senator John Ossoff, Georgia's first Jewish U.S. senator. He's also the youngest sitting senator. The two casting their first votes yesterday to confirm Avril Haines as the director of national intelligence. In an interview on MSNBC, Senator Warnock outlined some of the early objectives for his term.
What I want to do is stand up now for all the people of Georgia and build the kind of multiracial coalition we need to make sure that people have access to health care, that we get COVID relief.
And we have full coverage of the senator's first day on our website, 11alive.com. Atlanta police looking for the person who shot a woman in a Kroger parking lot. It happened last night just before 10 at the Kroger on Caroline Street in Edgewood. Police say 2 or 3 men came up to the woman, tried to steal her purse. She fought back, and that's when one of the men shot her on the leg. The gunman sped off in an orange Dodge Challenger. We're told the woman is expected to be okay. And a man found dead inside a burning car overnight. Atlanta police say someone spotted the car just before midnight on Argus Circle in northwest Atlanta. After they extinguished the fire, they discovered the man's body, which investigators at this point can only confirm is a black man. The car was impounded for processing as police work to determine the cause of death. There's now a new president and also 2 new Democratic senators representing Georgia. Coming up, 11Alive political analyst Andrea Gillespie weighs in on Inauguration Day and what could be the next critical vote for Georgia's new senators.
That's done. This is going to a recount, and the taxpayers will foot the bill for a 3rd time.
Morning news should be both informative and fun.
Gone are the days where we're speaking at you. On Morning Rush, we're speaking with you.
So connect with us. Talk to us.
Think of it as a conversation.
Morning Rush weekdays, 5 to 7 on 11 Alive.
Quick, Open your phone camera right now, aim it at the screen to download 11Alive's new and improved app. This QR code will take you to the App Store or Google Play. One simple tap gives you enhanced radar, street-level zoom, and severe weather alerts. It's just that easy.
As COVID-19 continues to impact our state, the need for food is bigger than ever.
In fact, 1 in 4 kids in Metro Atlanta live in a home that lacks access to adequate food.
But here's how we can take action to help.
The next time you're shopping, grab some extra canned goods.
And drop them off at 11Alive's Canathon with contactless drop-off, December 4th.
Or visit 11alive.com/canathon for 3 easy digital ways to give.
11Alive's annual Canathon. With your help, we can stamp out hunger in Atlanta.
Morning news should be informative and fun.
Yeah, and we do that here on Morning Rush with Verify, Connect the Dots, Why Guy, and more.
We love learning about new things and sharing them with you.
We make the news make sense.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 on 11Alive.
The Negro people had to leave. They were told to get out.
White only, no black!
1912, all but one issue has been erased.
We haven't had none up here since the 1st of the century.
What's the importance of making sure this history isn't erased?
So that it doesn't happen again.
Is your morning routine feeling a little routine?
Then mix it up.
Morning Rush is different.
It's the fast-paced news you need
With all the energy of your morning coffee.
Come see the difference on Morning Rush, weekdays on 11Alive.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Ram.
Here in Atlanta, bad weather means bad traffic. A few drops of rain could destroy a commute. But that's where my man Crash Clark comes in. I go street level, he goes next level.
Our Inauguration Day coverage continues now with a closer look at the unprecedented ceremony, President Biden's ambitious first day on the job, and what lies ahead for Georgia's newest senators. 11Alive political analyst Andra Gillespie joined me on Morning Rush this morning for some perspective. Good morning to you, Andra.
Good morning.
All right, so let's talk first about Senators Ossoff and Warnock being sworn in, making history. The two already casting their first votes for National Intelligence Director. What do you think will be their next critical vote, aside from Biden's cabinet confirmations?
Well, I mean, I think it depends on whether or not Speaker Nancy Pelosi sends over the articles of impeachment. That will require that the Senate figure out a way to immediately start that impeachment trial. There is a way that they could kind of dual track it so that they can handle Senate business in the morning and perhaps deal with the impeachment in the afternoon. We'll have to wait and see. One of the other big issues on the agenda right now is to deal with the coronavirus stimulus. So the $600 that people got a couple of weeks ago, is considered insufficient by many Democrats. They want to increase that, and so they're going to be looking to have an additional stimulus package. So that's probably going to be the next big piece of legislation that's going to come out of the Biden White House.
Decriminalizing marijuana as well?
That will be on the agenda, but, I'm not quite sure exactly where that's going to fall in terms of prioritization. Yeah. Right now, COVID relief is of the utmost priority because it affects the entire country.
So this inauguration, unlike anything we've seen before, we have a raging pandemic and the threat of domestic terror erasing much of the pageantry we would normally see every 4 years. Andra, I would love to hear your thoughts on this day as you were watching. I know you were watching.
Yes, I was definitely watching. In terms of this sort of scaled back ceremony, it was really interesting. I was at the inaugurations in 2009 and 2013, and I certainly remember the throngs of people and how cold it was in 2009. And so they had a beautiful day, and it was a shame that there couldn't be people there to celebrate and support it. But I think in terms of what happened on stage, what happened on the Capitol portico, that looked very similar to what we would see in previous inaugurations. The only things that were different were the COVID protocols protocols that required spacing, that required cleaning in between speakers, and the like. And I think symbolically that was really important. The senators who were putting on the inauguration, so Senators Blunt and Klobuchar, wanted to make it very clear that business was going to go on and that democracy had not been stifled despite the efforts of those who stormed the Capitol 2 weeks ago. And I think that they largely succeeded in that. And I think President Biden largely succeeded in conveying a message of unity and in conveying a message of reconciliation that was optimistic, but also very clear-eyed about the challenges that America faces today.
All right, I'm going to try to squeeze in one last question for you here, Andra, as we're running out of time. It was clearly an ambitious day for President Biden. He signed more than a dozen executive orders, including one order focused on rooting out systemic racism in the federal government. So people are watching all of this action yesterday, trying to go back in their memory banks. Is this something that typically happens on Inauguration Day? Was this an unusual action on the part of President Biden?
It's not unusual for presidents to sign executive actions and orders on the first day. It's also not unusual for them to issue executive orders that reverse what the previous president did, especially if there's a partisan switch, as there was here.
And in his first day in office, President Biden signed a total of 15 executive orders and 2 agency actions. Still ahead, our Hope Forward spells out all of the actions for you in 77 seconds. Chesley, I see a pocket of sunshine. Anya, you got a pocket of sunshine over there.
You know, you got on a great day like this, you got to bring something bright. Brighten up the folks, along with a smile as well. You're going to need that red 11Alive umbrella for this afternoon if you're going out in the near future. Let's put it that way. We will have cloudy skies for the most part for the rest of the afternoon with some pockets of showers, some isolated showers around. Temperatures getting up to 55 degrees for this afternoon. West breeze at about 10 miles per hour or less today, so we don't have to worry about a lot of wind at least. You can see that steady rain, the widespread steady rain has pushed a little further over toward the east of us. We have some isolated showers left over, and I think if we see any more this afternoon, this is the variety that you will see. So you got some up toward Ball Ground in northern parts of Cherokee County. Also into Forsyth County, you got a little isolated pocket there headed towards Gainesville, down toward Winder as well in Barrow County. And over toward Gwinnett County, you got a few isolated pockets there. Down toward the city, you got a break in Atlanta down through Forest Park, but once you get down into Henry County, right around McDonough, you're running into some light showers, and that will be with us at least for the next 15-20 minutes. As you can see, it's stretching back into parts of Fayette County and into northern parts of Coweta County as well. Temperatures are in the 40s where we had the rain or just saw the rain end. You got 45 degrees in Canton. Duluth, you're at 46, 49 degrees in Atlanta. Now, we were just up to 50, but because we had some showers move through, that dropped down briefly. I think we'll go right back up into the 50s later on this afternoon. In fact, I think we'll get up to 55 degrees for an afternoon high this afternoon. Clouds for the most part. Again, an isolated sprinkle or two, certainly not out of the question. Go ahead and carry the umbrella with you or keep the raincoat on as you're traveling around for this afternoon. A lot of this rain that you see is starting to break up. It will fade down to the south, stay there, and then make its way back up to the north thanks to a couple of systems that will come through. A front will move through the area and then stall to the south and move back up. I think this stationary boundary that you see right here will dissipate. It will get out of the way. You see the southerly winds out beneath that as well, helping to keep those temperatures up just a little bit. Here it is, our forecast track model. You can follow along with the time right above my big head right there. That's what you do. Notice that rain sinking down to the south. Now for the rest of the evening, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies. It'll be around through the overnight going into Friday morning. Look for more light rain to push in, especially from I-20 southward is where we'll have that rain. Up here to the far north, you may be on the dry side. There may be an isolated sprinkle or two. That'll be it. Most of that heavy rain stays in the southern portions of the state. The rain begins to sink southward as we head into the afternoon on Friday. Even some of the clouds breaking up here to the far north. That'll be our trend for the rest of the day. You may get a sliver of sunshine in before it sets on Friday. Certainly we'll have full sunshine around on Saturday. Mostly sunny skies for much of the day. Notice the clouds not that far away, and guess what? They return. They'll move back in on Saturday, late going into Sunday, and we'll have a chance for rain. Slight chance on Sunday, better chance on Monday as we start the work week with 65 degrees for the high.
I'm looking at that Tuesday there, Chesley. Thank you. This is New at Noon. We're learning more about how the city of Atlanta is planning to tackle violent crime. Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms leading a public safety briefing just moments ago and detailing a big plan of action. So here's a look. She touched on so-called nuisance properties, saying they foster violence. The mayor also says legislation introduced this month will stiffen penalties on businesses with liquor licenses if they're found to violate any ordinances. Police have partnered with the FBI and the Fulton County County Sheriff's Office and will pledge additional resources to target gangs and gun violence. And the city approving a pay increase for 911 call center positions. It's all in an effort to recruit and retain more police officers and first responders.
On average, this change will represent 13%, a 13% increase in pay for our 911 call center positions.
During the virtual briefing, Mayor Bottoms also said she's prepared to juggle jobs as President Biden recently named her the Democratic National Committee's Vice Chair of Civic Engagement and Voter Protection. A slew of questions surrounding the futures of both former President Trump and his party. After 4 years in the Oval Office, Trump is spending his first full day as a private citizen in Florida. But his shadow still looms large in Washington as he ponders his next move, while also facing a second impeachment trial. Here's NBC's Hallie Jackson.
This is no longer Donald Trump's White House, but it may still be his Republican Party, depending on who you ask.
This idea of moving forward without Donald Trump in the Republican Party is a disaster for the Republican Party.
Not all Republicans agree as the GOP grapples with what the former president leaves in his wake. Chaos, controversy, and crises, like the attack on the Capitol that infuriated many in his party who blame him, including Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell.
The mob was fed lies. They were provoked by the president and other powerful people.
Senate Republicans will get a gut check moment when they vote on whether to convict the former president in his upcoming impeachment trial. And even tacit approval from McConnell could sway enough senators to vote against President Trump. But some allies are making a different argument.
Most Americans will never understand why the first thing we're going to do here is potentially an impeachment trial of a president that isn't even in office.
He's not in office. He's not even in Washington, with the former president decamping for his Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. Gone, but he hopes not forgotten.
I just want to say goodbye, but hopefully it's not a long-term goodbye. We'll see each other again.
President Trump's making clear he has no intention of fading quietly from a spotlight he's sought for years, hinting he could run again.
We will be back in some form.
Reportedly toying with starting his own political party ahead of 2024. But at this point, it seems unlikely his presence would clear a field that could include his now former number 2, Vice President Mike Pence, whose relationship with the president broke down after the Capitol siege and who is widely believed to be planning a run for the White House himself after attending President Biden's inauguration, saying goodbye for now to Washington and making an emotional return to Indiana.
It is great to be back home again. Thank you for coming out.
Aim at the screen to download 11Alive's new and improved app. This QR code will take you right to the App Store or Google Play. One simple tap gives you enhanced radar, street-level zoom, and severe weather alerts. It's just that easy.
Journalism that gives you a real voice.
At Morning Rush, that's our commitment each and every day.
And why we're honored to have been recognized for Best Morning Newscast for the 2nd year in a row.
If you haven't yet, check us out. See why we're where Atlanta speaks.
Atlanta roads are my thing. ITP, OTP, Ponce, Piedmont, all the peach trees. Combined with Chesley's street level forecast, that's a lot of tech and experience to help your commute.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 on 11Alive.
We're quite the combo.
The President of the United States was accusing you of voter fraud.
Oh, I know it, and I knew it wasn't fraud.
Mr. James Blaylock voted in the election, the president's campaign tweeted. The only problem, he passed away 14 years ago. False. James Blaylock did not vote. Mrs. James Blaylock voted. After our investigation, national news outlets owned up to their false claims, and the president's campaign deleted the tweet.
Weather changes can make or break your day. That's why the 11Alive storm trackers are always watching what's coming next, delivering accessible and accurate forecasts that prepare you, not scare you. The storm trackers, only on 11Alive.
COVID-19 is still spreading in.
The new Biden administration planning a blitz of executive actions over his first 10 days in office. And within hours of being sworn in, we watched the new president get straight to work. He signed 17 executive actions ranging from mask mandates to fighting global warming. Our Hope For breaks down all 17 for you in just 77 seconds.
There's a lot to unpack, so we're going to go quick. Mask required on federal property. The World Health Organization, the U.S. rejoins, and Dr. Anthony Fauci will head up the delegation to WHO. A new COVID-19 response coordinator position is created. A nationwide moratorium on evictions and foreclosures extended until March 31st. The pause on federal student loan interest and payments extended till September 30th. A majority of Biden's executive orders revolve around immigration. DACA protections reinstated. Travel ban to 7 Muslim-majority countries lifted. Expansion of immigration enforcement stopped. Construction of the border wall halted. Deferrals of deportations for Liberians extended. An order excluding undocumented immigrants from the census rescinded. The restriction on diversity and inclusion training within federal agencies is lifted, and workplace discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity is prohibited. The Paris Climate Accord rejoined, and the Keystone XL pipeline canceled. The Office of Management and Budget, the office that prepares the president's budget proposal, has to update their review process. And finally, anyone appointed to the executive branch has to sign an ethics pledge to ensure they act in the interest of the American people and not for personal gain.
We know it's a lot of information, so we have posted more details for you in a story on 11alive.com. We'll be right back.
George's access to adequate food. But here's how we can take action to help.
The next time you're shopping, grab some extra canned goods.
And drop them off at 11Alive's Canathon with contactless drop-off, December 4th.
Or visit 11alive.com/canathon for 3 easy digital ways to give.
11Alive's annual Canathon. With your help, we can stamp out hunger in Atlanta.
Morning news should be informative and fun.
Yeah, and we do that here on Morning Rush with Verify, Connect the Dots, Why Guy, and more.
We love learning about new things and sharing them with you.
We make the news make sense.
Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 on 11 Alive.
The Negro people had to leave. They were told to get out.
White only, no black!
1912, all but one issue has been erased.
We haven't had none up here since the first of the century.
What's the importance of making sure this history isn't erased?
So that it doesn't happen again.
Is your morning routine feeling a little routine?
Then mix it up.
Morning Rush is different.
It's the fast-paced news you need
With all the energy of your morning coffee.
Come see the difference on Morning Rush, weekdays on 11 Alive.
Weather can't run from the all-new 11Alive Thunder Truck, a mobile weather center with the power and speed to chase down the strongest storms and bring you on-the-ground conditions. The 11Alive Thunder Truck, sponsored by Landmark Ram.
Here in Atlanta, bad weather means bad traffic. A few drops of rain could destroy a commute. But that's where my man Crash Clark comes in. I go street level, he goes next level. Together, we make sure you get to work on time. Morning Rush, weekdays 5 to 7 on 11 Alive. Hey, quick, open up your phone camera right now. Aim it at the screen to download 11 Alive's new and improved app. This QR code will take you right to the App Store or Google Play. One simple tap gives you enhanced radar, street level zoom, and severe weather alerts. It's just that easy.
Journalism that gives you a real voice.
At Morning Rush, that's our commitment each and every day.
And why we're honored to have been recognized for Best Morning Newscast for the 2nd year in a row.
If you haven't yet, check us out. See why we're where Atlanta speaks.
Atlanta roads are my thing. ITP, OTP, Ponce, Piedmont, all the peach trees. Combined with Chesley's street level forecast, that's a lot of tech and experience.
The Atlanta Beltline is looking for funding to complete its trails before 2030. The city wants to create a special service district within the Atlanta Beltline planning area to charge additional property taxes on commercial and apartment buildings. The estimated cost to design and build out the remaining trail corridor is $350 million. According to the city, the finished project would yield a $10 billion economic impact and 50,000 permanent jobs. Thank you so much for watching 11 Alive News at noon. Take care.
Payne deleted the tweet.
Weather changes can make or break your day. That's why the 11Alive storm trackers are always watching what's coming next, delivering accessible and accurate forecasts that prepare you, not scare you. The storm trackers, only on 11Alive.
COVID-19 is still spreading in Georgia. Now get facts, not fear, at 11alive.com/COVID numbers. Track cases by county using our interactive map and get the latest health department data. Visit 11alive.com/COVID numbers.
A sign of relief